I can't believe what I'm hearing. Roger's voice rings in my ears, his words like knives twisting in my heart. Jade, I know this is difficult, but I have to be honest with Vivian. I'm leaving her. You and our child are my priority now. My hands tremble as I clutch the phone, eavesdropping on the conversation that shatters my world. How could the man I've loved for over 20 years so callously throw away our marriage? Rage and sorrow war within me as Roger ends the call. I confront him, my voice shaking with the strain of holding back tears. Who is Jade? And what child are you talking about? He meets my gaze, his expression devoid of remorse. Jade is the woman I love. She's pregnant with my baby. The blunt admission knocks the wind out of me. You've been having an affair? I whisper, praying this is some cruel joke. Roger shrugs nonchalantly. For the past 2 years, I want a divorce, Vivian. It's over between us. His heartless dismissal of our marriage unleashes a torrent of emotions, disbelief, rage, devastation. How could the man I sacrificed so much for discard me so easily? Does our life together mean nothing to you? I cry out, hot tears streaming down my cheeks. Roger's face hardens. It did once, but not anymore. I'm sorry, but I've made my choice. His words cut deeper than any physical blow. In that moment, I realized the man I loved is truly gone, replaced by a callous stranger. As he turns and walks away, I sink to the floor, my world shattered into a million pieces. I sit on the couch, staring blankly at the wall as tears streak down my face. How could Roger do this to me, to us? After everything we've been through together, he just casts me aside like garbage. The front door opens and Kylie walks in, her cheerful expression morphing into one of concern. Mom? What's wrong? I struggle to find the words, my throat constricted with emotion. Drawing a shuddering breath, I finally manage, Your father? He's leaving me. For another woman. Kylie's eyes widen in disbelief. What? That can't be right. Dad would never. Shaking my head, I recount the conversation I overheard, each word another dagger to my heart. As the truth sinks in, Kylie's face contorts with rage. That lying, cheating bastard, she explodes, slamming her fist against the wall. How could he do this to you? To our family? I flinch at her uncharacteristic outburst, but I can't blame her. The betrayal cuts deep for both of us. Kylie has always been a daddy's girl. I don't understand, I whisper brokenly. We were supposed to grow old together. Kylie wraps her arms around me, her own tears flowing freely. Screw him, Mom. We don't need that piece of garbage in our lives. Her words ignite a spark of determination within me. She's right. Why should I crumble for a man who so readily discarded our family? Pulling back, I meet Kylie's gaze, my eyes hardening with resolve. You're right. He made his bed, and now he can lie in it, alone. A slow, vindictive smile curves Kylie's lips. He's going to regret this, Mom. I'll make sure of it. I return her smile, a newfound sense of purpose rising within me. We'll make him regret it together, sweetheart. That bastard is going to pay for what he's done. The next morning, I sit across from a private investigator named Frank, a no-nonsense former cop recommended by a friend. His gruff demeanor puts me at ease. This is a man who takes his job seriously. So, Mrs. Wilkins, you suspect your husband of having an affair? Frank prompts, pen poised over his notepad. I nod, my jaw tightening. More than suspect. I overheard a conversation where he admitted to being involved with another woman, someone named Jade, who's pregnant with his child. Frank's eyes narrow. I see. Do you have any other details about this Jade woman? Only that she works with Roger. He never mentioned her before. Jotting down some notes, Frank leans back. All right, here's what we'll do. I'll start digging into your husband's activities, finances, phone records, the workplace. See if we can't get to the bottom of this. Relief washes over me. Thank you. I need proof of his infidelity. Frank raises a calloused hand. Say no more. The truth will come out one way or another. That's a promise. Over the next few days, Frank's investigation uncovers a sordid tale of deception. Roger's mistress is indeed a co-worker named Jade Westbrook, a 27-year-old from an affluent family with a reputation for bouncing between jobs due to unprofessional behavior. Seems this Jade has a history of using her looks to get ahead, Frank tells me grimly. Multiple complaints of inappropriate conduct from former employers. I feel disgust churn in my gut. So this is the kind of woman my husband threw away our marriage for? A shameless gold digger. What about her pregnancy? I ask tightly. Is it true? Frank nods. Far as I can tell, yeah. She's about 4 months along. White-hot fury lances through me. That smug little tramp has been carrying my husband's child for months while parading around as his mistress. Unbidden, Roger's callous words echo in my mind. It's over between us. A ruthless determination settles over me. If it's over, I'll make sure he regrets it with every fiber of his being. With the truth about Roger's affair laid bare, I find myself poring over the prenuptial agreement we signed all those years ago. At the time, it seemed like a formality, just something to protect our assets in case the unthinkable happened. Little did I know how crucial those pages would become. As I read through the dense legalese, one particular clause jumps out at me: infidelity. If the marriage dissolves due to one spouse's unfaithfulness, the guilty party is obligated to pay substantial alimony to the wronged spouse. A slow, vindictive smile spreads across my face. This is it, my chance to make Roger pay dearly for his betrayal. Wasting no time, I gather the evidence Frank has collected: phone records, financial statements, even photos of Roger and his mistress caught in compromising positions. It's an ironclad case. When Roger comes home that evening, I'm waiting for him in the living room, files laid out on the coffee table. He stops short at the sight, his expression wary. "What's all this?" "Proof of your infidelity," I state, gesturing to the damning evidence. "I have it all here, Roger. Everything from your mistress's name to photos of the two of you together." Panic flashes across his features before he schools them into a mask of indifference. "So what? You knew I was leaving you for Jade." "Yes, but now I have all the ammunition I need." I tap the prenup with a perfectly manicured nail. "Remember this little document? The one that states the unfaithful spouse has to pay through the nose in case of infidelity?" Understanding dawns in Roger's eyes, quickly followed by outrage. "You can't be serious. That was just a precaution. It doesn't actually mean anything." "Oh, but it does," I purr, satisfaction coursing through me at his discomfort. "Thanks to your philandering ways, you're going to be paying me a very hefty settlement. One that should cover all my future expenses quite nicely." Roger opens his mouth, no doubt to spew more excuses, but I cut him off with a sharp gesture. "Save your breath, dear husband. The evidence is irrefutable. You made your bed, and now you're going to lie in it, alone and virtually penniless." As the weight of my words sinks in, Roger's face contorts with impotent rage, but he can't refute the truth staring him right in the face. For the first time in our marriage, I'm the one holding all the power, and I plan to wield it mercilessly. A few days later, I put the next phase of my plan into motion. Feigning a desire to reconcile, I invite Roger and his mistress Jade over for dinner, playing the part of the remorseful, forgiving wife. "I think we should try to work things out," I tell Roger, keeping my expression earnest, "for the sake of your child." He eyes me skeptically, but the promise of avoiding the harsh prenup penalties is enough to convince him. "All right, if that's what you want, I'll bring Jade over this evening." Once he's gone, I get to work setting up hidden cameras throughout the house. If I'm going to expose Roger's affair, I need indisputable evidence to back up my case. By the time they arrive, every potential angle is covered: the living room, dining room, even the hallway leading to the bedroom. I've left no blind spots. Jade sweeps in first, all fake smiles and overly effusive greetings. "Vivian, it's so wonderful to finally meet you properly." I force a smile, resisting the urge to slap the disingenuous look off her pretty face. "Likewise, I'm sure." Roger follows, looking distinctly ill at ease. He knows me too well to be fully convinced by this charade. We make strained small talk over the meal I've prepared, Jade dominating the conversation with inane chatter about her pregnancy and how thrilled she is to be starting a family with Roger. All the while, my hidden cameras are capturing every incriminating word, every saccharine smile, every furtive glance between her and my husband. Finally, I can take no more. Setting my fork down, I level my gaze at the oblivious blonde. "Why don't you cut the act, Jade? We both know you're nothing but a home-wrecking whore who trapped my husband." Her eyes widen in shock, but I barrel on, no longer caring about maintaining pretenses. "Did you really think I'd just roll over and let you two slither away with your affair consequence-free?" I sneer. "Not a chance in hell." Roger tries to intervene. "Vivian, what are you talking ab—" "Save it, Roger?" I snap, turning my withering glare on him. I have both of you on camera, clear as day, admitting to your sordid little fling and her pregnancy. Realization slowly dawns on their faces as I reveal the truth, that this entire evening was an elaborately staged attempt to catch them in the act. Jade's mask of faux innocence crumples as anger takes over. You crazy bitch, how dare you set us up like this? I laugh coldly, taking vicious delight in her impotent rage. I'll do whatever it takes to make you and that lying sack of scum pay for betraying me. For once, Roger is rendered speechless, his arrogant facade crumbling in the wake of my ruthless determination. As for Jade, her shrill voice echoes through the house, hurling insults and futile threats that only embolden my resolve. Let them rant and rave. They've already lost. Roger and Jade arrive at my doorstep, their expressions wary. I can sense their trepidation as I usher them inside with an eerie calm. What's this about, Vivian? Roger asks, trying to mask his unease with a bravado that rings hollow. I don't answer right away, instead leading them into the living room where the cameras are already rolling, capturing their every move, every inflection. Finally, I turn to face them, my gaze cold and unflinching. Sit down, both of you. They comply, exchanging a nervous glance as I remain standing, looming over them with quiet menace. For months you've both made a mockery of me and our marriage vows, I begin, my voice devoid of emotion. Sneaking around, lying, betraying the family you claim to cherish so dearly. Jade opens her mouth, no doubt to spew some self-serving justification, but I silence her with a sharp look. I'm not interested in your excuses. The truth is, you're nothing but a grasping, amoral whore who seduced my husband for your own selfish gain. Her eyes blaze with outrage, but I don't give her a chance to respond, turning my withering glare on Roger. And you? I could almost understand falling for her youthful charms if you were just some mindless fool acting on impulse. My lip curls in disgust. But you knew exactly what you were doing, didn't you? Carrying on this sordid affair for years, lying to my face every single day while you reveled in your deception. Roger flinches as if struck, finally seeing the depth of my fury laid bare. Well, no more lies, I declare, retrieving a thick file from the side table. I have all the proof I need, right here. With a few deft movements, I scatter the damning contents across the coffee table. Phone records, receipts, even photos of their trysts caught in full lurid detail. You didn't think I'd just let you slink away into your sordid new life together, did you? Letting the barest hint of a sneer creep into my voice. Not without making you both pay dearly for your transgressions. Jade's expression cycles through a gamut of emotions, shock, fear, anger, before settling into a mask of defiant arrogance. You're insane, she spits, chin raised haughtily. We're leaving, and there's nothing you can do to stop us. She makes to rise, but I slam my palm down on the table, making them both jump. Sit down. Each word is bitten off with lethal precision. Unless you want every sordid detail of your affair splashed across the front pages, I suggest you keep your mouth shut and listen very carefully. The fight visibly drains from Jade as the weight of her predicament sinks in. Even Roger seems to shrink back, his earlier bravado evaporating like a puddle in the sun. They have no choice but to face the consequences of their actions. And I intend to make those consequences utterly ruinous. The room is utterly silent, save for the sound of Roger and Jade's ragged breathing. They stare at the incontrovertible proof of their affair laid out before them, the smug arrogance from moments ago utterly shattered. Roger is the first to find his voice, a desperate whine creeping into his tone. Vivian, sweetheart, let's not do anything rash here. We can work this out like adults. I laugh, a harsh, mirthless sound that makes them both flinch. Oh, we're well past the point of working things out, dear husband. You made your choices, and now you'll face the consequences. Shifting my steely gaze to Jade, I watch in satisfaction as she shrinks back under my withering glare. As for you, you conniving little whore, did you really think seducing a wealthy married man would secure you a life of pampered luxury? I sneer. How pathetic and predictable. Her eyes blaze with impotent fury, but she knows better than to try arguing. Not when I hold all the cards. Please. Roger tries again, a desperate edge creeping into his voice. There has to be something I can do, some way to make this right. Make it right? I echo, arching one sculpted brow. You threw away 20 years of marriage for a cheap fling with this. I gesture disdainfully at Jade. This vapid little tart. There's no making that right. Jade opens her mouth, no doubt to spew more self-righteous indignation, but I cut her off with a sharp look. I wouldn't say another word if I were you. I warn her coldly. In fact, you'd be wise to start considering just how broke and humiliated you're willing to be once this all comes to light. Understanding slowly dawns in her eyes, quickly followed by panic. You can't be serious. Roger would never let you ruin us like that. I laugh again, taking vicious delight in her fear. You clearly don't know Roger at all if you think he has any say in this matter anymore. Turning back to my soon-to-be ex-husband, I allow a vindictive smile to curve my lips. The evidence I have is utterly damning, Roger. I'd advise you to start getting your affairs in order, because you're about to lose everything. His face contorts in a mix of rage and horror as the gravity of the situation hits home. I can practically see the desperate calculations running through his mind as he grasps at any remaining straws. But there's no way out. Not this time. He's well and truly caught in the trap of his own making. Please. It's Jade's turn to beg, all traces of arrogance gone as she crumples before me. I'm carrying his child. You have to consider that. I meet her pleading gaze with cold, pitiless eyes. I am considering it. And do you know what I've concluded? She shrinks back, shaking her head mutely. That child is the only reason you two miserable creatures get to walk away from this with anything at all. My smile turns razor-edged. But make no mistake, by the time I'm through, you'll both be flat broke and utterly disgraced. The words hang heavy in the air, a death knell for the lives they once knew. Roger stares at me in mute horror, realizing too late the ruthless determination he's awakened. As for Jade, she can only bury her face in her hands, shoulders shaking with helpless sobs as the cruelty of her predicament sinks in. They wanted to play with fire? Now they'll burn. The next few months are a whirlwind of legal proceedings and negotiations as I ruthlessly leverage the weight of the evidence against Roger. True to my word, I ensure he's left financially destitute by the time everything is said and done. Per the draconian prenup penalties for infidelity, he's forced to pay me a settlement large enough to maintain my current lifestyle for years to come. All of our joint assets and investments are liquidated, with the lion's share awarded to me. Even his retirement funds take a significant hit, leaving him with just a bare minimum to scrape by on. I make sure every last dime is extracted from that lying, cheating bastard. As the final decree is handed down, I can't help the vindictive smile that curves my lips at the sight of Roger's ashen, defeated expression. This is what he deserves for so callously betraying me. Jade doesn't fare much better. Once Roger's finances are laid bare, she realizes her dreams of a pampered, wealthy future are going up in smoke. The gravy train has unceremoniously ground to a halt. I'll never forget the look of impotent rage on her face as the court proceedings play out, stripping away her ill-gotten gains piece by piece. By the end, she's left with nothing. No money, no wealthy lover to leech off of, just a bastard child and a ruined reputation. The ultimate insult comes when she tries to plead with me one final time outside the courthouse, working-class roots clearly showing through her once-polished veneer. Please, Vivian. I'm carrying his child. She beseeches me, one hand cradling her swollen belly. You have to give us something to start over with. I regard her coldly, feeling not one shred of pity or remorse. You should have thought about that before you stuck your grubby little paws all over my husband. As far as I'm concerned, you're getting exactly what you deserve. Her expression crumples with the realization that I'm utterly unmoved by her plight. Shoulders slumped in defeat, she turns and slinks away, the gates of her meal ticket to the high life forever barred. In the aftermath, Roger attempts to grovel and beg forgiveness, but I shut him down at every turn. He made his choices, and now he has to live with the consequences. Penniless, alone, and utterly disgraced, thanks to the evidence I've systematically leaked. No more lavish vacations or nights out on the town for him. Just a quiet, impoverished existence as the world watches his spectacular fall from grace play out. As for me, I'm finally able to move on and start fresh, free of the weight of his betrayal. Kylie and I take a long-awaited dream vacation to Italy, reveling in our newfound freedom and financial security. Watching her smile and laugh again without a care in the world is the greatest reward I could ask for. We've both been through hell, but we made it out the other side, battered but unbroken. And Roger? He can choke on the ashes of everything he threw away for a pretty face and a few rolls in the proverbial hay. I'd say I feel sorry for him, but I'd be lying. The only thing I feel is a deep, abiding sense of satisfaction. Justice has finally been served.